Built by Wilbur B. Fauché for the headquarters of his Fauché Corporation, the Fauché Tower quickly became an irreplaceable figure in the Minneapolis skyline. Accepted into the National Historic Register by Russell W. Fridley, the 32-story, 447-foot-tall building was built in 1929 by optimistic architects from the architecture firm Magny and Tussler. The builder of the Fauché Tower, Wilbur Burton Fauché, was born on December 12, 1881, to Joseph and Julia Fauché of Ossining, New York. He graduated from the Mount Pleasant Military Academy of Ossining. In his mid-20s, he worked as a timekeeper, gas piper, and electrician for the United Gas Improvement Company of Tarrytown, New York. In 1906, Fauché became public utilities manager for the Hutchinson Power and Light Company in Hutchinson, Kansas. Unsatisfied with a job that he felt would not go anywhere, Fauché relocated. Wilbur Fauché arrived in Minneapolis in 1915, immediately getting to work on light poles and power lines under the Page and Hill Company. Fueled by his entrepreneurial spirit, he quickly rose the ranks, eventually buying his own company in 1916. This company was named the Ponca Electric Company of Nebraska. He would continue buying utilities and companies, all grouped into the W.B. Fauché Corporation, which had utilities in 30 states, as well as Alaska, which wouldn't become a state until 1958, Canada, and Central America. Once the W.B. Fauché Corporation became established, Wilbur Fauché realized that he needed a headquarters for his business. Inspired by skyscrapers in New York and stupefied by the silent beauty of the Washington Monument, Fauché hired the architecture firm Mahoney and Tussler to construct his dream tower. In 1928, to fund the construction, Fauché began selling stocks of the W.B. Fauché Corporation in an effort to raise $4.5 million, which would now be just over $65 million. Wilbur Fauché soon saw his business empire's headquarters rise above all other buildings from Chicago to the West Coast. Advertised as the tallest building in the Midwest, Wilbur Fauché threw an extravagant and expensive 3-day-long celebration in 1930. During the party, Fauché boasted a sculpture by famed sculptor Harriet Fursmuth entitled Scherzo, 32 stories of trendy Art Deco accommodations, at the top 2 floors being dedicated entirely to Wilbur Fauché's extravagant personal offices, decorated with high-quality African mahogany and Italian marble. Fauché's spending was not limited to his tower, however. During his 3-day-long party, Wilbur Fauché hired an orchestra to perform Fauché Tower Washington Memorial, a specially commissioned piece by John Philip Sousa. Along with performances and other entertainment, each guest was greeted with a gold watch, with certain guests being gifted an all-expenses paid trip to Minneapolis, courtesy of the W.B. Fauché Corporation. Unfortunately for the W.B. Fauché Corporation, the golden age wouldn't last forever. Just 2 months after the opening party of the Fauché Tower, on October 29, 1929, the stock market crashed. Wilbur Fauché's empire fell. Fauché went bankrupt and was forced to give up his tower. Facing a failing business and certain bankruptcy, things were bad for Fauché, but they were about to get worse. Wilbur Fauché fell under scrutiny of law enforcement for being at the head of a pyramid scheme, with charges such as mail fraud and insider trading. Fauché was convicted after a jury found him guilty. The one juror opposing this verdict was Genevieve Clark, a woman formerly employed by Fauché. Clark was later tried for contempt of court. Fauché and his second-in-command, Henry H. Henley, were to serve 15-year sentences, but were only held a couple years before being fully pardoned by President Truman 10 years later. Today, the Fauché Tower remains one of Minneapolis's most iconic buildings. Despite losing its spot as the tallest building in Minneapolis to the IDS Tower, built in 1972, the Fauché Tower thrives as the W Hotel.